As folks who know me know, I'm not a huge Christmas fan. So if you want to be really sad and confront all of life's despair and sorrow this Christmas season, these Criterion films are super depressing and also give us some great truths about the human condition, our society, our love of money, some of the hypocrisies that this time of the year brings. And we're certainly having a very sad Christmas in 2024, looking forward with perhaps dread to 2025. So these are some Criterion films that will make you incredibly sad this Christmas season. We actually kind of dreaded watching this movie, the prospect of it, before we watched it, because it was positioned to us as a movie about a man who abused children. And it is that, but it's not entirely that. It's The Night of the Hunter, 1955, and Robert Mitchum plays an absolutely terrifying preacher Harry Powell, who goes from community to community doing really bad stuff. It's also a Christmas movie, but maybe the kind of Christmas that might make people in your family cry. I don't know. It's a really interesting noir. It was not a success in its day, and director Charles Laughton, who was an actor and a very good one, basically vowed never to direct another film after this, which is a shame because this is actually a really good movie. It's almost like a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale, sort of larger than life and a conceit of a storybook tale. And I don't want to give too much away, but it is a fascinating study of how women and children are often the prey of very bad men, like the character played by Robert Mitchum. And Shelley Winters is spectacular in this as a very long-suffering mother to two children, a boy and a girl, and her name is Willa Harper. And she was married to a man who committed a crime, a terrible crime, and was incarcerated. And basically, they're marked by this crime for the rest of their lives, both mom and the children. It's a really disturbing movie, but it's so effective. And Robert Mitchum is a beast in every sense of that word, literally animalistic in this movie. But again, I don't want to give too much away. It is also a Christmas movie. And again, a very dark Christmas movie, but a fascinating film and really well done, super effective, great performances, and really interesting direction. The Night of the Hunter, 1955.
Ben never told you he throwed it in the river, did he?
I can hear you whispering, children, so I know you're down there. I can feel myself getting awful mad.
Here is all the passion and suspense, the heart-pounding warmth of the best-selling novel that gripped millions.
Wake up! Come on!
Superb, unforgettable performances by an extraordinary array of talent.
Figured I was gone, huh?
Run. Hide in the staircase. Run quick! Ruby, get! What do you want?
I want them kids.
I'm giving you to the count of 3 to get out of here. Then I'm coming across the kitchen shooting you.
The combined powers of Paul Gregory and Charles Laughton brought The King Mutiny Court-Martial to Broadway. Now the screen receives that same creative, electrifying impact. The Night of the Hunter.
If you watched my March 2024 top 5, you'll remember that when I mentioned Tokyo Story, I talk about this film being its inspiration. Tokyo Story was, of course, the Ozu film about an old couple going to visit their adult children. This is different. It's not a straight remake. It was an inspiration for Tokyo Story. So it had a lot of differences between this and the Ozu film. This was directed by Leo McCarey, and it is uncompromising and incredibly heart-rending. I actually sobbed gutturally near the end of this film, to the point where my partner was alarmed. It is so sad, and as Orson Welles said about this film and Tokyo Story, it would make a stone cry. This is definitely that. He did not lie to us. It is all about an old couple, Barclay Cooper and his wife Lucy Cooper, and they're respectively played by Victor Moore and Beulah Bondi, and they play it so heartbreakingly. And they're basically they're about to be tossed out by the bank. They've been unable to pay their mortgage payments. It's so upsetting I can barely speak. And they need to move in with their adult kids, but they can't move in together, so they're separated, and they haven't been apart for 50 years. And it just goes from there, and I can't begin to tell you, this is also a Christmas movie. It is so desperately sad, and it tells us a lot about what life was like before things like Social Security in the US, which is now deeply under threat. It used to be that when you were older and couldn't work, you were left in abject poverty. And with programs like the Canadian Pension Plan here in Canada, Social Security in the States, that was diminished quite a bit. Now both of those programs are under threat, so we're all going to get a chance to live this ourselves, as they did in the 1930s, where you literally were turned out of your house and had nowhere to go. And that seems to be the recipe that a lot of conservative politicians want for all of us, and I can't imagine why. But Make Way for Tomorrow will absolutely break your brain. It's a wonderful film in that it is an important document. It's also very, very well done and well performed, and it really makes you think. Really does. So if you want an existential crisis this Christmas, check out Make Way for Tomorrow, 1937.
You see, the house isn't ours anymore. The bank is taking it over.
The only thing I can suggest is that you come to live with one of us until we can get ourselves straightened out.
Well, that's awfully nice of you, George, but your father and I thought that, well, no matter what happened, that we'd always be... Oh, never mind what we thought.
Father Cooper goes to live with Cora, and Mother goes with George and his wife Anita. Does it work out? Can these two old folks, who in the last 50 years have never been separated, stand such a separation now? Is any home big enough for two families? What is to happen to Father and Mother Cooper? To these two old people so deeply in love with one another, so much of a problem to their children. What would you do if you were in their places? What would you do if you were their children? Make Way for Tomorrow is a great emotional human story about people you all know.
If you've ever wanted to see a beatnik noir Christmas story about an assassin, then my number one, Blast of Silence, 1961, is your movie. What a great, great movie. This is directed by Alan Barron, and it's all about Frank Bono, who is played brilliantly by Alan Barron. Outstanding work here. It is like a beatnik poem. It is so cool. There are bongos and dark cafes and wine bars in New York City at Christmas time. This film is dripping with atmosphere. It It feels cold. There are grimy rooming houses and dank hotels and shifty characters that Frank Bono has to meet up with to get an assassination done. And he's got an inner monologue that is literate and feels poetic. And it's constantly talking about his sense of isolation and alienation from the world. He's a rogue. He's basically outside of society, hunting people for money. And it has just some set pieces that will, again, take your breath away, filled with this sort of swampy atmosphere as they get further out of the city. In the city itself, you get to see a really, really great panoramic view of Christmas time in the very early 60s in New York, which is very trippy to see. It feels really grounded. It feels really real and authentic. And the writing is spectacular. As you listen to Frank Bono's monologue as told by the narrator, such a great movie, the world's most depressing Christmas movie, but it's still a Christmas movie nonetheless. And it'll really make you think about the lives that certain men in society lead, where they're constantly on the outside looking in and feel a sense of deep aggrievement. As we can see, that's all around us now. This is a wonderful film. Blast of Silence, 1961.
You get spotted before the hit. The contract's off. You understand me?
Yeah, I understand you.
You're going to be party to an attempt to kill a man. This is the asphalt jungle. This is New York City, with its fancy women and fancy hoodlums, with its very special beat, its very special places, its hunters and hunted. And you will walk side by side with Frankie Bono as he stalks his prey, knowing what is in his mind, feeling what is in his heart. And your hands will sweat with his fear. Your pulse will pound with his desire.
Frankie, no! No, Frankie!
You're gonna have to be game, Frank. Hey, you're gonna have to pay luxury prices, boy.
I'll pay you nothing.
And even as he prepares to unleash his blast of silence, you will discover that you and Frankie Bono are playing the most dangerous game in the world.
Here are my top three depressing Christmas Criterion films: Charade, The Night of the Hunter, Make Way for Tomorrow, My Night at Blast of Silence. Blast of Silence. If you're like me and you like to be a little sad this time of year, enjoy these films. Otherwise, have a very Merry Christmas from Grushenka Talks Films. Thank you so much for listening.